Racing takes place at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday, the 26th of August 2023. We've got 10 races on the program, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 11:50 over 1,250 meters. It's an open maiden, so it is quite a tricky start to the day. And I'm joined by Graham Hawkins. Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. Just a word of caution, there is quite a bit of rain around, and so the track is likely to once again be on the soft side. I'm not going to say it's going to be heavy, but they're forecasting rain for today. Not so much for tomorrow, but the going is going to get slightly softer again. We've enjoyed a couple of meetings where the going has been true and fast, but perhaps for this meeting we're going to be heading back towards a soft track and a number of open maidens, but a mixture of short-priced favourites that look tough to beat, and then, as per usual in the Cape, a couple of very wide-open races. So it's an interesting card.
Yeah, we'll certainly be keeping a very close eye on the penetrometer reading come Saturday. Now, race number 1, it's 5-1 the field here. Petica, your 5-1 favourite, 11-2 Groove Jet, 4 Jack, 6-1, and Better Barthos. There's been a touch of support for horse number 6, Sail to the Moon, from around 12-1 in the market. He's shortened into 7-1, and that is horse number 6 from the Eric Sands yard with Bernard Fade Herberboard, who, when you have a look at his first 2 starts, he's going to need to improve. But Graham, what's your thoughts on race number 1? We've obviously got quite an expensive first-timer here in the form of Groove Jet, 1 million rand purchase. But the comment is he's going to need twice the trip, even though he's a nice type.
Yeah, he's by Sylvan out of a Jetmaster mare. That's probably the most successful cross in South Africa over the last 10 years or so. But we have to take those comments on trust. This is a very, very weak race, Rahil. If this was the first leg of the bipot, I'd be putting in the field. So I'm very happy it's not the first leg of the bipot. Petica is one of those at the top of the boards in a weak market. Obviously very consistent form, but hasn't run since August last year. So off the track for just about a year. But we've seen Des McLaughlin bring them back off that long layoff and win first up in Cape Town. So you've got to respect Petica. Must have a chance. 4 Jacks must have a bit of a chance of those that have run before. Tambourine Man suddenly showed some improvement, as did Run For Me. But you can't trust the form here. So this is wide open. It's very trappy. And I'm very pleased it doesn't form part of the exotics.
Yeah, very, very tricky start to the day's proceedings out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. It's a race where I think you've got to keep a very close eye on the betting market. That could possibly be a fair enough indication come closer to race time. But quite a few horses that do have winning chances. Moving along to race number 2, Open Maiden Fillies and Mares, 1,250 meters. This is the start of the bipot, 12 the off time. 1,000 Kisses, your favourite, at 7-10. Tequila Sky at 9-2. Lady Renee, 8-1 into 6-1. Ellerick, 6-1. 14-1. And Better Barthos. Now, as much as 1,000 Kisses is short in the market and ran a nice race on debut, I'm happy to take her on, Graham. And we are just speaking off air that day that she ran, that was the race 1 was the only race that ran on the day, and the rest of the meeting fell away, and it was terrible conditions on the day. So she would be perhaps vulnerable over the 1,250 meter trip, given that it would be a bit sharp for her.
Yeah, she could be vulnerable. Of course, this form line comes under scrutiny, not only in race 2, but also in race 3, because Charlene, who's favourite to win race 3, ran 3rd behind Mia's Harper, just a little way behind 1,000 Kisses. So just how 1,000 Kisses performs in race 2 could inform us as to what we could expect from Charlene in race 3, although Charlene has stepped up with a further run. But looking at race 2, I've got 2 bipot bankers that I like in races 4 and 5, bipot and Big 6 bankers. I'm not going to be going against Magic Verse in race 4 or Trippy Silk in race 5. So I'm going to take on these favourites in the first 2 legs of the bipot. I'm not saying they can't win. Of course they can win. But Tequila Sky, plenty of scope for improvement from the inside gate. And Ellerix also ran in that Mia's Harper race, but of course she didn't act at all. They put the money down in a serious way when she was taking on Mia's Harper. She shortened from 5-1 into 3-1, so there was a lot of money for Ellerix that day. And her debut run behind the subsequent feature race winner Beach Bomb was not a bad effort. So you've got to expect that Ellerix is going to run a much better race. So for me, although 1,000 Kisses is my top choice, I'm going to hedge my bets in the first leg of the bipot with numbers 1 Tequila Sky and 7 Ellerix. So those would be my 3 choices for the first leg of the bipot. And of course, you've got to watch the betting in case there's a market springer. I'm not going to worry about Lady Renee, to be quite honest. If she comes in, then I might have some egg on my face, but she's had too many chances for me, so I see there's been a bit of betting support for Lady Renee. She would be my fourth choice, but I'm going to go with numbers 1, 5, and 7 in the opening leg of the bipod, with 1,000 Kisses being my first choice, but I think she's too sharp in the market.
Graham, what's your thoughts on number 10, Royal Lytham? This horse is at 50 to 1 in the market. Now, she just has 52.5 on the back, and when she appeared on debut, there was quite a bit of support for her, and there was a bit of talk as well, and she just failed to deliver, and she hasn't really put her best foot forward, but I'm willing to forgive her for her runs to date. I mean, I don't think she particularly enjoyed the soft conditions. I think she's probably lacked race experience. She's just needed a few runs to tighten up. Could you see this horse running a huge race at maybe 50 to 1 in the market for bipods and for their trifectas and quartets?
Possibly for trifectas and quartets. For the same reason, I'm happy to forgive Ellerix's poor run behind Mia's Harper in that bottomless ground when, as you said, that was the only race run on the day. Clearly, Royal Lytham finished even further back, 32 lengths back. But let's forget about that run. But even on the evidence of her first 2 starts, I know that Adam thought she's better than what she's shown. So Royal Lytham could certainly show sudden improvement, but for me would still be a very surprise winner, despite the fact that it's only carrying 52.5. So yeah, maybe the back end of trifectas and quartets. If she doesn't start showing some improvement now, then there could be a little bit of trouble with the daughter of Lancaster Bomber.
Yeah, Graham going with 3 horses in the start of the bipod. That's race number 2, but maybe keep an eye on number 10, Royal Lytham, as a bit of a lurker in race number 2. Moving along to race number 3 on the program, 1,250 meters. Open maiden yet again for fillies and mares. And here we've got Charlene as your favorite, drawn deep here in gate number 10. She's at 17 to 10, 4 to 1. Look Forward, You Win Again at 5 to 1, 8 to 1. About Miracle in Motion, School Policy has found a bit of support from 12s, and then it's 10 to 1 and Better Bar those. Now Charlene, she's got a deep draw to overcome. Last time out, extremely unlucky not to get home. Denied in the shadows of the post behind Windrunner, and the drop in trip is concerning for me, and therefore I'm happy to take on with a couple of other horses in this event. And I think there's a few horses that could run decent races. This horse Miracle in Motion, she was so disappointing last time out. Backed into odds on favorite, and she failed to land a blow on the opposition. But perhaps at around 8 to 1 in the market, I think the punters would possibly be willing to go in again, especially at that price.
Yeah, well, I was very strong on Miracle in Motion last time, as you know. She can only improve on that run, so she's got to be better than that. So, like you, I'm happy to take on number 10, Charlene, and I'm going to go pretty wide in this leg because I think there are a few with chances. In fact, the 2 Justin Snaith horses, number 8, Vitblitz, a late declaration. She's got blinkers. So that could sharpen up this daughter of Denon Platina, because on 2 of her runs, a third behind Raskova on debut and a close third behind Flying V back in May, on that kind of form, she certainly has a useful chance in a field like this. And with the blinkers now being added to her equipment, we can see sudden improvement from Vitblitz. And of course, Grant van Niekerk is the stable elect rider, so he's chosen to ride Vitblitz ahead of Miracle in Motion. But that doesn't mean that Miracle in Motion is not going to run a much better race here. So the 2 Snaith horses I respect. I do like number 2, Look Forward, from a good draw. Richard Faree, when he teams up with Mike Stewart, I always take note. There's been money around for number 3, School Policy. And you've got to respect that money from a good draw. 2 fair runs under the belt for the daughter of Kirari. And then Charlene must go into the play, although we're looking to beat her. And You Win Again, a small chance. So there are a few here. I'm going to go a little wider in the buy, but I'm going to include at least numbers 2, Look Forward, 3, School Policy, 8, Vitblitz, and 10, Charlene.
Yeah, a few horses that need to go into the mix here in race number 3 on the program, which is also the start of the place accumulator. Moving along to race number 4, 1,400 meters a trip, the start of the pick 6. Open maiden, 25 past 1, the off time. Magic Verse, we'll call it 7 to 10 in the market. Right Royal Mo at 9 to 2, 6 to 1 final edition, 10 to 1, and Better Bar those. Now, Magic Verse ran a very pleasing race on debut behind the son of Justified, Boogified, who won quite comfortably, and he's obviously a horse that would have learnt a lot with that run under the belt, and he's taken to go close in this event. Top choice, and a bank in the pick 6 for you, Graham?
Yeah, short and sweet. I think Magic Verse looks the real deal in this kind of lineup. from a nice draw, good debut behind her. Running second to Boogie Fight, who runs later on in this card. So I'm not looking to beat Magic Verse, whereas I'm trying to turn the favourites over in races 2 and 3 and possibly set up a nice little bipod dividend, which may or may not come off. I'm going to take another perm where I take a very smaller perm multiple times, but I'm not looking to beat number 3 Magic Verse. For me, a banker in all permutations.
Yeah, Graham Strong in the camp of horse number 3. That is Magic First in race number 4. We're going to move along to race number 5 on the program, over 1,400 meters, an open maiden. And this is a start of Jackpot 1, 5-2, the off time for this contest. Trippy Silk, your favorite at 11-10, 7-2 about Hawk Circle. Sakambaya at 11-2, along with Thundering Typhoons. It's then 14-1 and better bar those. Now, Trippy Silk, she obviously ran a nice race last time out, beaten 2 lengths, and we saw that horse Luce Verde come through to win from that form line, and he actually won a nice race. And despite drifting out in the market, he drifted out like a barge. He came through to win quite a nice race, and he beat a couple of nice horses. Greenland, the horse that I think we can follow next time out from that run. But this horse, Trippy Silk, good draw, going over 1,400 meters, which looks to suit the son of Trippy, and he's going to be your top choice?
Yeah, it's a very weak race. I mean, Hawk Circle has been knocking around in the maidens for a long time, has been very expensive to follow. He's the second choice in the market. Second buyer's got a little bit of form to recommend him, and maybe some improvement to come from number 6 Thunder and Typhoons. But really, if you look at the form of those first 2 starts for Trippy Silk, then you've got to believe that that the 3-year-old son of Trippy is going to step up and get the job done from a decent draw. So here again, I'm throwing my lot in with number 4 Trippy Silk. I'm bankering Magic Verse in race 4. I'm bankering number 4 Trippy Silk in race 5, and I'm not looking to get him beat. I think he'll shorten even further in the market. He was 15-10 when the betting opened. He's gradually shortening in the market. I think he's going to shorten even further. And quite frankly, I expect Trippy Silk to win, and to win in some style.
Yeah, all in with Trippy Silk in race number 5. Moving along to race number 6, 1,800 meters the distance. This is a maiden plate. 14:27 is the off time. And this contest, we have got Mothership at the top of betting boards at 11-10. 5-2, Run Rudolph Run. 6-1. And better bar those. Now, when you see Mothership and Run Rudolph Run top in betting boards, horses that have had 14 starts and 16 starts respectively in the maidens, you know it's not the strongest of contests. And yeah, what's your thoughts on this race, Graham? Are you with those 2 horses? Because looking past them, it's difficult to find a horse that could possibly topple them.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, you realise with those 2 at the top of the boards, you've said it all. I wrote at the top of the race, Desperate Maiden, one for the Desperado. So yes, obviously the 2 to beat are 5 Run Rudolph Run and 8 Mothership. But I'm not going to include just those 2 in the pick 6 play. I'm going to look to possibly number 4 Lockheed Lightning and number 7 Global Movement to produce some of their best form, and if on their best past form they could win a race like this, because clearly both Mothership and Run Rudolph Run have got to be vulnerable. So yeah, it's not strong, but I'm going to throw numbers 4, 5, 7 and 8 into all my play, into the bipods and into the pick 6s. Perhaps in the place accumulator you can get away with numbers 5 Run Rudolph Run and number 8 Mothership. Mothership is clearly the one to beat. She's well clear in the best weighted column. Good last run. So clearly number 8 Mothership is the one to beat. But I'm not going to be rushing to take a very short price about her.
Yeah, numbers 5 and 8 could certainly fight out the finish. They could run first and second in this contest, but you wouldn't be too confident on taking even money at around 5-2 about those 2 runners in this event, given that they've had way too many chances. Race number 7 on the day, 1,800 meters the trip. This is going to be the start of Jackpot 2. Here, Nutcharm is your favorite at 18-10. He's shortened from around 2-1, 7-2 about Future Turn, 6-1 Sudden Song, 7-1 Royal Watch, Coronation Time. It's 8-1 and better bar those. Now, Nutcharm, he obviously won quite convincingly last time out, straight out the maidens, beating Ibuto, who has since come through to win. He's got a good draw, but he does step up in class quite a bit here, and he also steps up in trip. He runs on the turf. First run down in the Cape. There's quite a few unknowns with this individual and quite a few question marks to his name, but the punters are confident, and they with number 4 Nacham as he is the favourite here.
Yeah, they like this horse, and why not? He's obviously very decent. He's won his last 2 starts emphatically. They've both been on the poly track. He's now emigrated to the Western Cape. It's a lot tougher there, or potentially a lot tougher. The other runners in the race, they've been running against each other almost every other week. Future Turn, Coronation Time, Mucho De Niro, Sudden Song, Royal Watch. They all have the ability to win this kind of race. They're distance suited over 1,800 meters. There's no reason why Nacham shouldn't successfully step up from 1,600 meters to 1,800 meters. That should not be a problem. In fact, on pedigree, he should go even further. I know that Gareth Van Zyl really likes this 4-year-old Son and Noble tune, so we've got to respect the money. But he is being thrown a little into the deep end here. I know that he slammed Ibuto by 5 lengths on the poly track last time, and then Ibuto came out to frank that form. And maybe Nacham is the horse to beat. But I think you've got to consider all of those other names I've mentioned, and even number 2, Impetuous. He's so erratic. I mean, 2 runs back, he absolutely waltzed in, beating Prometea by nearly 6 lengths, and then 4 runs back, he beat Quantifier. That wasn't a bad run. In between time, he's run 32 lengths back and 21 lengths back. On form, he's due to win if you look at the sequence. But I think this is an open race. Obviously, you're entitled to row in with Nacham, but I think it's an open race, and I'm going to be including all of the principals, the local hopes, Future Turn, Coronation Time, Mucho De Niro, Sudden Song, Royal Watch. I'm throwing them all in along with Nacham. But Nacham might well be good enough, and if he wins this, then Gareth Van Zyl's got a really decent horse on his hands.
Yeah, you could be quite right with that horse number 4, Nacham, the horse that they maybe all have to beat. But I think number 8, Mucho De Niro, 8-1 in the market. I'm happy to go in on this son of Twice over at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He loves the trip. He's won twice over the distance. And Grant van Niekerk does stick with this individual who's dropped 2 points after his last start. So he could be just ready to strike. And hopefully the conditions don't come up too soft on the day, because I don't think he quite enjoys it when there's some underfoot conditions. Hopefully he can run a nice race at a decent price of around 8-1 in race number 7. Race number 8, 1,000 meters a trip. It's a class 4 event for fillies and mares, and here Candy Town is your favorite at 28-10, 9-2 Mulberry Street, 11-2 about musical arts, different face, 6-1 and better bar those. Now Candy Town, horse number 10, facile winner last time out, going from start to finish. She looks to be a horse on the up. Her maiden run, that form 9, was franked in no uncertain terms, and she's possibly got more ability than the field that she does take on. But the only negative for her is that she's got a 10 draw to deal with.
Yeah, the principals here, the ones that I like, are all drawn on the outside. Numbers 8, 9, 10 and 11, led by number 10, Candy Town. Obviously, she looks to have a bright future, this daughter of Karari. But, we've seen these horses that lack experience. They come up against these hard knockers from poor draws and so on. So I think she can be vulnerable. I think she stands her favourite's chance. For me, this is a typical field type of race. It's a very trappy fillies and mares handicap over 1,000 meters. Candy Town, the top choice. But drawn even further out is Mulberry Street, Richard Faree for Paddy Crayer. Her form behind Miss Marguerite. She ran second to Miss Marguerite in May. She ran third, very close up, beaten only a half length by Miss Marguerite in June. Not a bad run behind Where's the Party. Difficult draw to overcome, but on that kind of form, she's got to come into the reckoning. Eric Sands has always told me that Different Face is really a 950-meter horse, so that's going to go waltzing off to the lead and hopefully lead from start to finish. But if you look at her form at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, 4 starts for a winner, second and 2 fourths, never out of the money at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, number 9, Different Face. Priceless, could be anything, comes off a long rest, was highly regarded, clearly something went amiss in her last start, but she could need further, so the 1,000 meters on the sharp side. Country Time could surprise, but for me, to be honest, I'm expecting any kind of a result here. Certainly Candy Town is the one to beat and looks to be the best horse in the race and looks to have the brightest future and a lot more to come. But I'm not certain that you can bank on Candy Town. I think this is the kind of race that could produce any kind of result.
Yeah, I think we could possibly even keep an eye on a couple of horses that have been running in conditions that haven't really been suiting them, heavy conditions, really soft underfoot conditions. So maybe a couple of horses could actually bounce back to some of their better form when the going was slightly better. So horses to keep an eye on in race number 8. But healthy respect for horse number 10, Candy Town, who could have far more improvement to come than the rest of the field. Race number 9, the penultimate race on the day. 1,250 meters a trip. This is a class 4 event, and you need to get those bets on by 4 on the afternoon. And here, Boogified, excited to see him back in action. He's at 7-2. 11-2 about Paratrooper. Feldskun 6-1 about horse number 8, and it's 7-1 and better bar those. I can tell you that there has been a touch of support for Lunch Money, 14-1 into 10-1 after he was terribly costly to follow last time out, jumping as a favorite and running no type of race. But Boogified back in action, son of Justify. I'm looking forward to what this horse could offer, and he could actually be a horse that if he does win here, Andre could have some decent races planned up for him during the Cape Summer season.
Yeah, he's got a world-class pedigree, Australian-bred son of Justify. He could be a classic horse in the making. He could be anything. The handicap has not been kind on him, rated him at 90 after his maiden win. We are expecting Magic Verse to frank that form earlier in the day. So Boogified clearly has a chance and clearly has a bright future. But here again, it's that same comment we make. You know, these horses step out, these young horses, they've just turned 3, they step out of the maidens with a high rating, coming up against much more experienced, hard-knocking types. And the likes of Benjamin and Feldskun and Fort Red represent that group of horses, possibly Night Tiger as well. Whereas the youngsters, the 3-year-olds, are Paratrooper, Boogified, and Le Legionnaire. Le Legionnaire, as you say, that form was franked by Luce Verde. I'm going to be in the camp of number 2, Feldskun. Like Boogified, he's Australian bred, he's a son of Schnitzel, he's been lightly raced, he clearly has his problems. He's drawn in gate 2, but his form at Hollywoodbets Durbanville is impressive. He's had 2 starts for a win and a second over this course at distance. And I think that Brett Crawford could step him out fresh. He hasn't been seen in action since June. And for me, Feldskun, the one to beat. But I'm going to include the likes of Benjamin. Obviously, you've got to include Boogified. Tough terrain is scratched, so we can ignore that one. And Fort Red has the ability, despite the bad draw, to upset them. So that's my A list. My B list would include Night Tiger, Paratrooper, and Le Legionnaire. So I'd put Boogified up there with my A list. But it's not going to be easy for him. If he wins this, then he could be a Guineas type horse.
Yeah, it's quite a exciting race, race number 9. There's quite a few nice horses on show here, and I'm looking forward to this race. And tune in at 4 to watch the 9th race on the program. Graham with horse number 2, Feldskun. I'm going to be with number 5, Boogified. I think he's quite a smart sort, this son of Justify. Moving along to race number 10, over 1,400 meters. The final race on the day, 16:45 is the off time. It's a class 4 for fillies and mares. And just having a look at this contest, your favorite is Enemy Territory, 7-2. Flying First is at 4-1. 11-2, Hear My Voice, 7-1, and Better Bar Those. What's your thoughts on the final race on the day? Obviously, the only exotic that it forms part of is Jackpot 2.
Yeah, fortunately, the place accumulated, the pick 6, the bipod, all of those exotic bets are being concluded by this time. But it is the last leg of Jackpot 2, and I'm happy to include just the 2 runners, number 6, Enemy Territory, and number 7, Flying First. It is a tough race. It is a class 4 handicap for fillies and mares, 1,400 meters with a maximum field, a little bit of luck in running. You need a little bit of luck in running here to win. The pace should be on, but I'm happy to go with my short list, number 6, Enemy Territory, and number 7, Flying First, in the last leg of Jackpot 2. If you want to add one other, then possibly number 3, Hear My Voice, and further back, number 5, Little Miss Pink, if you want to extend that list. But in my Jackpot 2 permutations, I'm going to be rowing in with my first choice being number 6, Enemy Territory, and my second choice being number 7, Flying First. Just number 6 and 7 for me. I'll take my chances with those 2.
Yeah, 6 and 7 for Graham in race number 10. I'll throw in horse number 3, Hear My Voice. Richard Fourie sticking with this horse, and she's got a good draw to deal with as well. And although she is held by Flying First on that Where's the Party run, I think she could make a presence felt in this event with just because Richard sticks with the ride, and I think there could be slightly a bit more to come slightly more that this filly could have to offer. But race number 10, Enemy Territory, the favourite, and Graham hoping that this filly can run a huge race for Loom Courtois and Brett Crawford. That is the 10-race program out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. A couple of short price favourites on the day, and Graham starting off his pick 6 with the 2 bankers, and hopefully those 2 horses do arrive. Graham, thanks very much for your time. Obviously 10 races on the program, and hopefully we've managed to guide the guys in the right direction, and they can collect a bit of cash on Saturday.
Yeah, as I said, it's a mixed bag. It's some short price favourites, some wide open races, but it should be extremely entertaining, and let's hope that the cards fall the way we've predicted they're going to fall.
Yeah, most definitely. All the best, guys, with racing on Saturday out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Hopefully it's a profitable one.